for you. I hope you can hear me okay. My youngest is asleep practically right above me. Probably not the best time to film a video, but it really is the best time to film a video. So I am here today with a tag video that I just found via someone who left a comment on my channel who did the tag via the original person who did the tag. So the original person was Megan McCarthy, and I will link the original video down below. So as you probably saw from the title of this video, this is the AuthorTube chronic illness and disability tag. So this actually hits close to home for me, obviously. As many of you may have seen in my intro or in my header image. What is that even called on YouTube? I don't know. It does mention that I'm a spoonie. So I do have multiple chronic illnesses, multiple mental illnesses, and at certain times when I have all my chronic illnesses and mental illnesses all working against me at the same time, I do associate with the word disabled. When I am doing well, I don't. So that's why I typically refer to myself as a spoonie instead of disabled, because my disabilities are so fluid that sometimes I'm truly not disabled and other times I really am. So I typically associate with the word spoonie or chronically ill, but there are definitely times in my life where I have absolutely been disabled. So that is known as a fluid disability, dynamic disability, and as well as being unhealthy disabled, because you are disabled from illnesses as opposed to things that are permanent. So I have 10 questions to answer for you. I'm hoping to do them sort of rapid fire. I don't think this video should take too long, but I am really excited to do it for you and sort of give you a insight into how my chronic illnesses and disabilities affect me as a writer. So number one is, what chronic illness or disability do you have? Do you have multiple? So this is gonna be a long list and hopefully I don't forget anything. I'll start off with my mental illnesses because that is what started first for me. I have anxiety, depression, phobias, as well as some OCD behaviors. So that in itself is a lot. And then for my chronic illnesses, I have something that's been diagnosed. It was diagnosed for 5 years as fibromyalgia, and it's now been diagnosed for the past 2 years as chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm not sure if either of those is accurate, but I do have some sort of illness that causes me widespread pain, fatigue, so many other symptoms. So I typically just say I have fibro or chronic fatigue syndrome. I also have POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. It often comes hand in hand with fibro and CFS. So there's that. And then I recently was diagnosed as hypermobile, which I definitely have had my entire life and have never been diagnosed with. I always just called myself double jointed and didn't realize there was actually a difference. And I don't fit the criteria for EDS as far as my doctor and I have figured out, but I am definitely hypermobile, and that probably causes a lot of symptoms that have always been attributed to osteoarthritis and injuries. So that's something new that I have been trying to navigate different treatment options for. I think that's everything. I have dealt with endometriosis in the past, although after 2 surgeries it seems to be cured, quote unquote. It could always come back as long as I'm menstruating. There's the possibility of it coming back. So, but right now I am not, I'm not dealing with any side effects from that, which is lovely. Question number 2 is, have you had your chronic illness or disability your whole life? As I said, my anxiety started as a child. I was 7. And then my depression and my OCD slowly started creeping in as a teenager, but really got bad as an adult in my late 20s, I want to say. I'm 34 now. My chronic illnesses, as I said, my hypermobile, I've definitely had all my life, and it just hasn't been diagnosed, and I didn't know that that's what it was. And it caused me patellofemoral pain syndrome in my knees, and caused me to be diagnosed with arthritic joints, which they are not. They are a result of hypermobility. And my fibro, chronic fatigue, whatever it is, was diagnosed in my mid-20s. And my POTS was just diagnosed last year, but that is something I have definitely had since I was, I want to say, probably 16 or so. Number 3, what healthy coping skills have you learned because of your disabilities? Not enough. I think when you have mental health issues, you have to very quickly develop coping mechanisms. They're often not healthy. They're often bad habits and things to distract you that are not good for you. And that was how I lived my life for a very long time. When you have chronic illnesses, the problem is that often while you could develop healthy coping mechanisms, you can figure out which therapies work for you, which treatments work for you, which medications work for you, how to eat and take care of your body to try to improve your chronic illnesses, prevent flares, that sort of thing. But a lot of times chronic illnesses come hand in hand with mental health issues. And when your physical health is bad, when you're in incredible amounts of pain, when you are so exhausted you can't even sit up, that takes a really big toll on your mental health. And then some of those positive coping mechanisms that you may develop get overtaken by your bad mental health, and it's just a spiral. So it's definitely something I'm still working on. Something that I have learned over the past couple of years with my chronic illnesses is to speak what I need out loud, to ask for help, because people can't read minds. They don't know how bad it is if you're just a little tired and not feeling great and want to lay down and watch a show for an hour, or if you really cannot get out of bed, you are in a ton of pain, you need to take a lot of meds, you need a lot of help. You really need to speak that out to the people in your life so that they can help you. So I think that's the most important coping mechanism that I have learned, is to actually tell people what I need and ask for help. Do you apply your experiences to your writing? I have not yet written a chronically ill or disabled character. I have written lots of mental health stuff. My work in progress that I'm currently revising, which I wrote in NaNoWriMo of 2020, is really all about mental health. There's a lot of anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies, psychiatric hospital stays, all of that sort of thing. But I do absolutely, in my next manuscript, want to write some more diverse characters, including chronically ill and disabled characters, to be able to speak my experience with physical limitations as well as my mental health. Number 5, how does your chronic illness or disability alter your writing routine? The first way, of course, is if I'm having a flare, if I'm in a span of time where my physical health is really bad, there's no writing happening. I just can't. When I'm in pain or that fatigued, I don't have the mental capacity to be creative. As well, when I'm in a bad span of time with my mental health, depression, anxiety, these things, again, affect your ability to be creative. So it's really tough finding pockets of time where you are feeling well enough mentally and physically to get those creative juices flowing and actually make some progress. How does it impact your writing style, topics, characters, etc.? So I mostly talked about this in number 4. My characters in my work in progress, a couple of them are mentally ill. One of them is working to be a mental health medical practitioner. So it definitely affects every aspect of my writing. And as I said, I would like to bring that even more to the forefront with more diversity of chronically ill and disabled characters in my next manuscript. Number 7, what about your chronic illness or disability has surprised you? How many I could have at one time and how alone it makes you feel when you are so unhealthy so young in your life. When I was first diagnosed with, at that time it was fibromyalgia, my friends were all still partying and, you know, they were still having a good time all the time, no real responsibilities. I already was married and had my first child when I first started having symptoms, and then I got diagnosed right after my second child was born. So I was already well into the throes of wifehood and motherhood and all of that. So I already was sort of on the outs from all my friends because I was, you know, a whole life stage ahead of them. And then to add this chronic illness on top, they couldn't get it. And it's completely understandable. I know I wouldn't have gotten it either if I was in their shoes. So it definitely made me feel very, very alone and very out of control. And I still feel that sometimes when I'm unwell. I think that's why it's so important to make friends with other people who are disabled or chronically ill or mentally ill, because you need people who get it, that you can speak to and that can make you feel less alone. Number 8, how did my family react? I mean, no one was really surprised. I'd been suffering for so long, and my mom also had a lot of chronic illnesses. So it really wasn't anything new to anyone in my family. And it was definitely an adjustment for my husband and I when we were just newly married and new parents and all of that. But, you know, you just sort of adapt. There's nothing else you can do. Number 9, what do you celebrate about your chronic illness or disability? I know this is trying to be like a positive, upbeat question, like, oh, it's, you know, it's made me who I am and I wouldn't be here if it hadn't come into my life and all those sorts of things. But honestly, I'm just gonna answer you with literally nothing. It's so hard to be positive about something that affects your life so negatively. I can say, however, the one good thing that came out of it was that I started a blog with one of my friends who also has mental illnesses that she struggles with. And that's been really fun working with her, writing this blog about mental health and chronic illness. So that's definitely the one thing that's come out of it, but I wouldn't say I necessarily celebrate anything to do with my physical and mental health challenges. And number 10, what's your favorite form of self-care? I am very good at self-care actually, because I tend to be a person who knows how important it is. I have no problem laying in bed all day and watching Netflix. I like to do my nails if I'm feeling up to it. A long hot shower is always fun unless I'm having a potsy day, and then a hot shower is a no-go because I will pass out. And just, you know, trying to fuel my body and take care of my body the best I can. I don't always make good choices. It's why I'm on a fitness journey right now, which is really tough when you have so many chronic illnesses. But I really just try to do what I feel is needed for that day, and I do my best, and that's all I can really do. Thank you so much to Megan for creating this tag. I am really excited that there seems to be this little pocket of AuthorTube I didn't know about with chronically ill and disabled creators, and I'm excited to explore that more and to find some more people that I can relate to. So I'm super excited to have been able to do this tag for you guys. I would love if you would comment down below, let me know if you are a writer with chronic illnesses or disabilities, and I would love to connect with you guys. So please let me know down in the comments, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.